everybody who watching us. It's a very pleasure to me to give a pitch about DEXART Metaverse today. I'm Anton Elston, I'm CEO of DEXART. And today with me, Gosha Sviridov. He is the Chief Creative Officer in DEXART. Gosha, hi, how are you? How was your day?
Well, it's cold, but it's fine.
Yeah, could you please tell something about you for us?
Well, I've joined DEXART on the very early stages of development, and I started with coming up with the history of the world, with the whole lore behind this amazing development, how the world appeared and how it came to life. So I was the one who came up with the idea of the story behind the world. And then later on, I started working on other, let's say, text aspects of the project, including different engagement mechanics, quests, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm the one who comes up with the ideas about how this world works and what's made of and why it is even there.
Yeah, it's really big and very important things to create the DEXART Metaverse. And based on these things, we have created mission and tokenomics of DEXART Metaverse. Today we will talk about it. Gosha, could you please tell us about DEXART Metaverse history and why it's a unique history, and it's why it's a new world like a Metaverse, and why DEXART is a really Metaverse? What do you think?
Well, the first thing is that we really knew from the very beginning that the world needs a history. It can't be just like that. It's not the flick of the fingers that made it appear. It's not just something that we created. We wanted the world to be interesting and deep and have some background, so that the people who come there feel that they're inside some specific place. It's not just a generic digital world created by some guys on the other side of the world. It's a world that it really exists because it has history. So when we started thinking about how a metaverse can actually appear, we first of all, of course, looked at how the universe appeared. It was the Big Bang. So we thought about Big Bang and realized that actually, metaverses and like our metaverse appeared from something that looked like a Big Bang. Because when blockchain started gained popularity in the world and everyone started talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that stuff, the critical mass of blockchain concepts has started growing. And when it reached some specific point, when it was so huge, it collapsed on itself and exploded in a huge explosion, which we don't call a Big Bang because it didn't make a bang. And if it was a bang, it would destroy the planet probably. But we call it a big flare. So it's something similar to a Big Bang that gave birth to the whole metaverse. It was the condensed mass of all blockchain concepts, all blockchain projects, and all blockchain content, I would say, in the world that made this happen. So it happened because we needed it. It happened because it couldn't not happen, just like the actual usual universe. So just like a usual universe, DEXART is a place that constantly grows and develops. It's very different from where it started. From day one to this current moment, it has changed a lot, and it's grown and it's developed and it gained some cool features, and it now looks almost completely like a real virtual world, if you can say so, real virtual world. So that's basically the story. It came from what we call blockchain singularity.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, and it just goes straight to my head. And I just want to tell that DEXART Metaverse is not only about blockchain. It's about Web 3.0 internet, and DEXART Metaverse is the future of internet. It's a new generation of social networks. Why are metaverses a new type of social network? What do you think about it?
Well, I think the main reason for that is the audience, is the people. It's how the people interact with the digital products, basically. Because you and me, we are basically old already.
Yeah,
we are just the old guys, and we are the ones who grew up looking at Facebook feeds and Twitter feeds. So the usual flat screen type of social networks is something we're used to. But the generations that come after us, they think very differently, and they have very different habits of using the internet and of using technology as like in general. They have completely different view of the technology, and for them, the flat places like Facebook and like Twitter and like other social networks. So like, if not, no, shouldn't mention LinkedIn probably. But for them, these flat places don't even exist. They just don't exist for the young audiences. If it's flat, it's boring. Well, unless you can control a character there on the screen, but you can't. So these places are really boring. They don't tell a story. They have no substance behind them. All they have is the content that other people create and the ads the brands put there. But the young audiences go to the web to like they use digital world to like for something different than we do. We used to go there and like check out on our friends and scroll through the feed and see their pictures and maybe some videos. But today, young audience, the Generation Alpha, they're called, the ones who've been born after 2008, I think. They come to the internet, they go to the internet to do a different thing. They play, and at the same time, they communicate with friends. And these are the same friends they had just met a couple of hours ago at school. So they came back home from school and they jump into the virtual world. And I think you can, like, if you have kids, you know what we're talking about. It's not something that happens, like, I don't know, in some part of the world. It happens everywhere on the planet. Kids have screens and they use them differently. It's not the way we use them.
Yeah, it's a really new generation of people. It's Generation Alpha is a type of kids, type of people who live with internet all their life. And my son is 6 years old, and he have been surfing in internet since he was 3. And when he was 3, he already had been spending his time in Roblox and Minecraft, and he has friends in their spaces in the games, and it's a really strong friendship. Sometimes he doesn't meet somebody in real life, but they play together in Roblox and Minecraft every day. And that's why it's like real life for them. What do you think about it?
Well, yeah, and this is exactly why they need a different kind of a social network, a new kind of social network. A social network that it doesn't only give you a chance to connect with other people, but it gives you a lot of different options of how you can interact with these people. You can play, you can explore, you can just talk, you can like dance together. You can do a lot of things that you cannot do in a flat social network. So that's why they need a completely new type, a new generation of a such social network. And that's what DEXART is going to become. I really believe. I think you believe in this too.
Yeah. And what do you think? What will happen when that kids will grow up and start to spend their money online? How will brands find them online? What they should to do to target on their audience?
Well, let's first of all mention the fact that you and me, we're getting old, and old people who like everyone is getting old. So the usual audience of the brands that is the main buying force online at the moment is going to get older, and at some point they will like stop being able to pay that much money they pay today for the goods and services. That means like, well, basically that just shows how the audiences change over time. So our parents have been the main buying force for some time, but then we came. So now our children are going to be the main buying force in like 5, maybe 10 years. They will be the one in 10 years. They will be the ones who will be making the biggest number of purchases online, the biggest percentage of purchases online, because for them online is basically equal to the real world. So to reach them, brands will definitely have to come up with new like ways of interacting with them. because you will not be able to find them in Facebook. There will be no Facebook. Well, it will be there, but it will not be as big and as powerful as a marketing tool anymore. Because the young audiences will be in a different place. They will be you will not be able to find them in the flat social networks. So the brands will have to embrace the new reality. They will have to adapt, maybe, and maybe they will even have to. Not maybe they will have to go to the metaverses to follow the young audiences. And if the audiences, if there's an audience, you can market on it, and if you can connect to this audience, well, you have to use the tools that are usual for this audience. So you will have to come up, not you, but brands will have to come up with completely different strategies, marketing strategies, because it will be basically like marketing inside a video game. And this is something very, very new for them.
And it's not only about the young audience. It's going on with in real life today. Traditional online marketing becomes more expensive, and it is a very big lack for business, for small business and nano business, to make online marketing profitable. And that's why every time new businesses come to Facebook and make their bids on auction to place advertisement online. And when Facebook shows the ads to the audience, they have only less than 1 second of user focus to convert user to a lead. What you can tell about it?
Well, I think it's amazing, really. I mean, it's not just amazing; it's getting silly. Because how can you even sell something to someone when you have 1 second? This is less time than a traveling salesman would have 60, 70 years ago. You know, the ones who were traveling in the country and they had all the stuff they needed to sell in the trunk of their car, and they would knock on the door and say, "Hey, ma'am, do you want to hear about the new vacuum cleaner?" That's 3 seconds. They had at least that. And that was kind of enough to get someone's attention. But when you have less than a second, how can you even do that? So I think they probably have to get 10 or 12 impressions before a person even kind of realizes what's happening. So yeah, I think that's the silliest thing about online marketing today, that you have so little time to communicate with the audience. So basically, if there was a tool that would allow brands to get a focused attention of the audience for a longer time, basically that would be a gold mine, I think, that would really give a huge edge to the brands who could get attention of the audience for tens of minutes, or even a minute is 60 times bigger than a second.
Yeah.
So if there was a tool like that, that would change a lot. That would change the market forever, probably.
And what will be with the customer cost?
Well, you know what will be with the customer cost, of course, not the buying, but the price of acquiring a new customer would go down tremendously. Because if you have a longer period of communication with the client, you can explain more, you can show more, you can engage more, and it means that probably the conversion rate would just rocket up through the roof, to the moon, basically. And that means that not each, but your communication ends in gaining a new customer more often. So that means you pay less, because you still can cover the same amount of people, but since your communication is more effective, it's cheaper.
Yeah, I got the message that the 3D spaces and metaverses and games increase user focus rate up to 6 times than traditional online marketing, and the user costs become cheaper 6 times more. But from another side, when we will add game mechanics to the process, we will grow not only user costs, we will grow the lifetime value for the users, for the customers of a business. And it's very important for business too.
Well, yeah, I guess a very interesting thing that it's really hard to take your attention off something that's basically like that's interacting with you. If something gets your attention and it keeps you focused, it can keep you focused for a very long time if you know how to hold the person's attention. And there are tons of ways of doing this. The problem is just getting this attention. And the best way, like imagine a person playing a video game, like sitting on his couch in his living room, playing a video game with a game controller in his hands. You can probably, like, if the person is really into the game, you can probably do whatever you want around this person. You can walk, like, and jump around naked, listen to loud music, throw things, maybe even have a fight with someone. This person would probably not even notice, or he would notice, but he would not pay a lot of attention to what's going on around him because he's so focused on what's happening in the game, what's happening in the virtual world that he's basically in. So this kind of engagement is something I think metaverses can bring to the table into marketing. Because before that, we could, like, no one could offer anything like that. You cannot offer a gaming experience through the existing channels. You need a completely game mechanics through existing channels. You need a completely new channel, and metaverses can become this new channel that offers the game mechanics that keep customers focused for for extended periods of time. And this attention costs actually a lot. That's a very valuable thing.
It is a big value which metaverses can bring to real business today, not in the future, right now. And that's why metaverses, it's the future, what going on today. What do you think?
Well, yeah, you're right. But the thing is that if you look at existing metaverse projects, they are not really doing this. They're trying to do something different. Almost like they have a different mission, basically. Instead of becoming a new kind of medium where brands can interact with customers and have all the relevant tools and analytic tools and marketing tools, they try to create metaverses like a place, like a virtual place that exists because of, and there's no answer because of, like, why does it exist? And like, since we know that, like, we specifically know that DEXART exists like a virtual space for brands to have meaningful engagement with their customers.
Okay, and what about the global market? Today we have results of researches of big consulting companies that metaverse global market will grow up to $13 trillion in 2030, and it's 13 times more than all cryptocurrency market today. But Web3 and metaverses will be based on blockchain and cryptocurrency. That's why metaverses it's the point which which will grow up the cryptocurrency market in the near future. What do you think about it?
Well, I think that there's a way of doing this. There's a way of growing the cryptocurrency market through emerging metaverses. But the thing is that these metaverses need to have stable and strong currency, which happens rarely. Usually metaverses create their own tokens backed by people buying this token. I mean, like, they say, okay, we do the first emission of tokens and then we sell it out and we want people to come and buy them. People come and buy them. After some time, a lot of people save the token and it crashes in price. Because the token is basically backed by how many people you're able to attract constantly each day. So you have to keep new people coming and buying the token. If they're not coming and buying the token crashes because it's not backed by anything. So as soon as metaverses keep doing this, I don't think they will be able to create any meaningful economic structure or anything at all. So that's why I think DEXART is very different also from most metaverses that exist so far, because the token in DEXART is backed by something, and is backed by something tangible, measurable, and usable, actually. And this is user attention. And I think this is like a huge and amazing find that can change the game completely. And I know you agree with that. I see that in your smile.
Yeah, I just want to give you one more idea. That's every bear market started from new trends, and every peaks of cryptocurrency market capitalization became after the trends. And 5 years ago, the trend was ICO. 2 years ago, the trend was DeFi, and 1 year ago, trend was NFT. And what will be the next trend? And the next trend will be in GameFi and Metaverses. And Metaverses will grow up cryptocurrency market more than 5 or 10 times. And it's very interesting. And it predicts the big consulting companies predict that the Metaverses market will be more than blockchain market, and it's really interesting. And from another side, Gartner consulting company predicts that in 2025, at least 25% of world population will spend 2 hours per day in metaverses, and up to 2027, 70% of big companies will put their workspaces into metaverses, and it's amazing. I'm waiting for it, and I want to see what will happen in the future with the people who will spend their time online in metaverses, and with the companies who will transfer their employees' workspaces into metaverses. And I want to be the part of it. I want to be in a part of it. Yeah. And what about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely for that. Like both hands. I'll be the one to transfer my workspace into a metaverse, really, because I always wanted to have a workspace somewhere in the mountains, above the clouds, to always see the sun. I really find the idea of like all people in the world spending two hours each day in the metaverse. I find this not just amazing. This is mind blowing, because that like 2 hours is basically enough time to like communicate with something, to play a game, to complete a quest, to do a lot of different activities. 2 hours of time is enough time to do a lot. Basically, you can do many things. And the thing is that imagine if we could give them a chance to use these 2 hours, not just to spend time in metaverse like they used to do in Facebook. Like, imagine 2 hours of scrolling the feed. That's meaningless. That's dumb. But in the metaverse, imagine if we could give them a chance to earn when they do this through the communication with brands. So you come to a metaverse, you do something that you like, you meet people, you like your friends, and you do some activities, and you end up earning money from brands. They pay you for participating in the activities. And if this concerns the whole population of the planet, just imagine that we could give the whole population of the planet a chance to earn money on a daily basis just by coming to a metaverse and paying attention to what's happening there and getting paid for that by brands. This would probably make the world a better place when everyone can earn enough money to pay for their everyday needs by just coming and looking at advertising content, which is very engaging and interesting because it's gamified, but still it's basically ads. But you do this on purpose. I mean, it's not something that comes to your face like when you come to the internet and you see banners all over the place and you just try not to look at them. But if you come to a metaverse, you know there are brands waiting for your attention and you're ready to give them your attention. You give your consent for them to attract your attention and they pay you for that. So that is something out of a sci-fi novel. Basically, this is the future when people can gain money, can get money by selling their attention to brands, and this is mind blowing.
Yeah, and as all topics, what we are talking about today, it's not only about the future; it's happening today. For example, at the morning, I have told with my friend from Germany. He is owner of big consulting company, and their focus are on onboarding new employers in other companies. And what we will do together, he wants to create in our metaverse virtual spaces to make onboarding online. We will create, not will, we creating spaces for every company which he works together. And that spaces are the same spaces like in real life. And employees of the companies will feel there, will feel like in real life and trying to do usual things what they have to do in real life when we will work in the company. And it's very interesting, and it's one of the first pilot projects in DEXART Metaverse.
Well, that sounds like, I know that it's happening right now, but it really sounds like something from the sci-fi novel that the way we used to see the future, and it's coming to life right now. I mean, I think it feels at least amazing to do these things and know that, the sci-fi novel writers, these people were imagining the future and thinking about it, and we're the ones who get to make this true. We're the ones who are building the future, and this is, I don't know, it's sometimes it's hard to believe that.
Yeah, we can talk a lot about the future, and we can talk a lot about what we are doing today in metaverses and how we collaborate with real business companies. But let's talk about DEXART tokenomics.
Well, yeah, I think that's the key thing of the whole metaverse, and it's the unique thing about it, and it's something that differs it from all other metaverses. So yeah, as we spoke before, as we talked before, we came to the idea that many tokens of different metaverses are not backed by anything. Basically, they're not backed by any means, any capitalization. So we thought that this is one of the biggest problems that the metaverses have currently. That's why they don't get big, because there's nothing to do there again. And we thought that there is one resource that really means something in the modern world. It already means something, and it not means something. It costs a lot, and brands are seeking it. And that's the attention of the users. We talked about it before. So we know that it exists, and there's a lot of it on the internet. But the thing is that there are more brands, and the demand for the attention is much higher than the supply, because everyone wants to sell something. Everyone needs to say something and to deliver his message. But there's not enough user attention to take all this content, to see all this content. So it means that brands compete for the attention of the users, right? Now, each time you go online, there is an auction going, and depending on the outcome of the auction, you see this or that banner. So that means brands are ready to compete with one another for user attention. And we thought that this would be the best thing to back the token with. We can measure the time and the attention of users who are spending their time in DEXART. That means that if it's measurable, it's calculatable. That means that it can be something tangible. It's data. And the more users spend time in DEXART, the more they engage with the metaverse, the more they do some meaningful activities, the more tokens are issued, basically. Because we are not going to do the one centralized emission of the token. There will be no moment when we say, all right, today we have minted 1 billion tokens. Come on and buy them. This is not going to happen like this, because this makes the token worthless. we want the token to be backed by the attention of the users. So each time a person, for example, finishes a quest in the metaverse, a small portion of tokens is issued and given to the user as a reward. That means that his attention has been materialized, and he's getting a reward for that. You've given us your attention. We're giving you tokens. You can use these tokens to buy stuff inside the metaverse. You can go and exchange them on the decentralized exchange, and then get your usual currency. And the thing is that as soon as we look at it that way, as soon as we understand that our token is backed by the attention of the users, that means we can offer.
So as many time users spend online in DEXART Metaverse, then more DEXART Metaverse tokens will create, and behind every token which DEXART Metaverse made, you can find purchase from real business which ready to pay for user attention for the time which users spend online in DEXART Metaverse. And it's very interesting, and it's something really big and really new, and it's impressed me.
And it also, what's also great about this idea is that it changes the way that brands interact with their customers in a way. Because before that, the brand was coming to a platform and giving a lot of money to the platform, and then the platform is trying to attract the user attention to the brand's content. But this time, there is no platform, basically. The brand is working directly with the customers, and he is not paying to the platform. The brand is not paying to the platform. The brand is paying to the customer, saying, thank you for your attention. Here's some tokens for that. So that's like the simplified interaction. But that really changes the perception of both the brand and the user, the customer. Because before that, the customer was mostly annoyed by the ads and the brands trying to get into his face. And now they will be probably thankful for, I appreciate that. Thank you for valuing my attention. And the brands will feel that they are getting not just some glimpses over their banners like that, but they're getting meaningful interactions and meaningful connections with customers. So that changes the way the market works probably, because there will be no middleman. There will be no platforms that can get really obscenely rich just by drawing in more audience, which is not really paying attention to the ads they're seeing.
Yeah. And how will the brands and DEXART customers will find each other? Are there any ways to connect them?
You cannot just buy tokens. As we said before, tokens are not there for you to buy them. They're not sold. The thing is that tokens appear only when you interact with Metaverse, because they represent your attention. So to gain some tokens, you need to pay some attention to the Metaverse. And we have created like a game mechanics for that. So you can spend your attention and convert it into tokens. All you have to do is to go to a special place in the Metaverse called Token Production Facility. That's a place that needs energy to work. So what you do is you go and buy an energy unit, and you insert this energy unit into a token production facility, and it starts working, and it produces tokens over time. And from that moment, once you put the energy unit inside the token production facility, you need to go to the token production facility every once in a while and check how many tokens it has produced. Then you just take these tokens and pull them out of the token production facility and land them inside your vault. But the vault also has the limited capacity, so you have to increase it sometimes. You have to take out some tokens and spend them, or exchange them for fiat currencies. So that's how you, if you can say so, that's how you get the initial currency in DEXART world. You have to pay attention. You have to take part in the game mechanics to get this attention, to get these tokens. So another way of getting tokens is by completing quests, because when you complete a quest, you interact with the metaverse, you pay attention, and you get tokens as a reward. And at the end of each quest, you get a reward of some number of tokens, which are produced at the moment when you finish the quest. Basically, they are not there lying somewhere on the server or on someone else's device waiting for you to pick them up. No, they get produced, they get created, they get minted the moment that you complete the quest. But we know you have gained, you have spent enough attention. So that's how it works. I think this is the new, like completely new mechanics for brands again. You come and get, you build, basically you can build stories that the customers will run through. They will experience your message, your product, everything on the way. And then in the end, you give them some tokens in exchange for that as a thank you. Right? That's a completely new interaction.
Yeah. And we will leave the link to a website where you can find more information about energy units and DEXART token below this video. And let's finish. Next time, we will talk more about the future of internet and how metaverses will impact for the future of internet.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Thank you, Gosha, for being with me today in this event, and see you next time.
My pleasure. See you next time. Bye-bye.